We had a couple close calls that we got to talk about. I'm going to wait to get into this Wisconsin-Colgate game until it ends. Currently, Wisconsin's up by 4. We're still sweating out that cover. Come on, Colgate. Just lose by 7. That's all you got to do, lose by 7. So we're going to start with Illinois and Chattanooga. RC, you were all over those moccasins, man. You had me all over those moccasins. They led for 19 minutes and 35 seconds. Illinois did not take their first lead until there were 45 seconds left in the game. What happened to Chattanooga?
They struggled to score the second half. I mean, that was the one concern that we talked about that I had with him was that in a half court with certain matchups of Malachi, who didn't play well offensively tonight at all, if they weren't able to post him up, where was offense going to come from? Because we knew they couldn't post, Silvio De Sousa against Kofi. Like we knew he couldn't do that. So give Illinois credit. They battled their tails off. That was a difficult game. We thought it was over. They were behind all game and found a way at the very end to close it out. But I thought it was probably minus a game-winning basket, probably the best game of the tournament so far.
Both teams competed.
Yeah.
I mean, in a lot of what we said yesterday came true. It was just a matter of, Kofi Coburn was so good and so big around the basket, but they were still able to throw guys at him. I just, any other time, they did a terrific job defensively on Malachi Smith, and that's what it really came down to. I haven't seen a game this year where he ends up going 4 of 20 guys.
Right.
And he is a gifted scorer, and I think I counted 3 or 4 where they just went back rim. I mean, everything was a little bit long, and it's just one of those games. But that, like we said, I don't think that UT Chattanooga didn't live up to the expectations.
Right.
I thought they were right there with it. It's just part of it.
They should have won.
They should have won.
They should have won. They
They're
did
up 39 minutes and change. Like, they should have won that game.
They were up by double digits for much of the first half. They were up by 11 in the second half in a game where Illinois only scored 54 points. That is, for Illinois, it is the definition of survive and advance. Because Illinois did not play well.
No.
They did not play well at all. And look, I can forgive Malachi Smith and David Jean-Baptiste for struggling. Trent Frazier is we kind of called him short, but remember last night what we said? It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog.
Yep.
Did I get it right that time?
Yeah, you got it
Got it
right.
right.
I nailed it that time.
You got
I
it
was
right that
practicing.
time.
Nailed that
I was
like a
practicing over
split
there in the
home.
chair. I was going to make sure I had to get this one right. But, I just came away so impressed with Chattanooga. And they were everything that we thought they were going to be in that game. Yeah. And it came down to a shot from 15 feet from your best player that was open. He got a good look to win it.
He got 2 looks.
He got 2 looks to win it. The first one got blocked, but the second one to win it at the buzzer, 15-footer from the wing, chance to win it. I will give Malachi Smith could be 4 for 1,000.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give him that shot to win it every single time.
No question.
And I hate to be all cliche and say it's a make or miss game, but
The NCAA tournament is.
It is.
I mean, especially
it
a
is.
one-off. I mean, if you're an Illinois fan, I feel terrible for you. I mean, because your blood pressure medication, you must be running out of it. Like this team, the great or the good is worth $1 million. The bad is so bad it just hurts your heart. Like some of these passes they would make whenever they were making their run to get back in. Like that, I remember specifically, they get on a run, they hit a 3, Trent Frazier drives baseline and throws it to nobody. Straight out of bounds, and yet they still find ways to win. Like it's got to be the most frustratingly exciting winning team that I've seen in a long time because their mistakes, they aren't subtle. Like those mistakes are so loud. You throw them straight out of bounds. When they mess up, they mean it.
there are times in my life when I'm like, man, it's so hard to be a fan of this team, and it's so hard for me to watch this team play because of things that they do. And then I just sit there and I think about the fact that there are Illinois fans out there that have to watch Andre Corbello play every single game. RC, I said it to you. We were sitting right there.
I was getting ready to repeat it.
Go ahead.
I was getting
Go ahead.
ready to
Take
say,
it. Take it. Take it as your own. Take it as your own.
It was the funniest thing he said today, and it was so accurate. We're watching the game, and he goes, the best player for Chattanooga is Corbello.
6 turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's a riverboat gambler.
listen, it wasn't just the turnovers. That was part of it. The other thing about it was I think he's at his best when he's playing more of a facilitating pure point guard. To me, he's playing like he's a walking bucket. Like he's driving, looking to score. He's forcing stuff. It's like every time he touched the ball, he was trying to make something happen. And it just didn't work well tonight. I mean, but we talked about it. I told you guys, Chattanooga is one of the better defensive teams that I'd seen all year long, and their length and athleticism as a guard at the guard position maybe gave us some trouble, but they're
It also
lucky to
helped on the
survive.
backside with those screen and roll situations
Yeah.
because Chattanooga can cover a ball screen.
Yes.
Andre Corbello, he's just. This is why I've stated so many times that I feel like he's so much better coming off the bench for you. Like, in my humble opinion, 30 minutes is too much for Andre Corbello. He's an 18 to 23 minute a game guy because then you can get spurts of good, and you don't have to rely on the sporadic as much. Does that make sense? Because if you leave him out there, he's playing with his foot on the floor, talking about like a gas pedal, like his foot's on the floor the entire time. There's no pullback. So him coming off the bench, I think, is a better option for that team going forward. He came off the bench today, but 30 minutes, that's a lot for somebody like him that's a sporadic with what he does.
All right, so Illinois advances to the second round. They are going to play Houston, who knocked off UAB. That game was not as close as I think we all thought it was going to end up being. Houston hit 7 of their first 8 threes. They made 9 of their first 13 threes. They finished with 10 threes overall. They shot 53% from the floor. And Jelly Walker, 6 for 18, 1 for 10 from 3, 5 turnovers. He did not play his best. Dagan.
Watch it over there.
He did not play his best. What do you want me
He
to
didn't-
say?
he
He was
didn't.
6 for 18, 1 for 10 from 3.
But he's still awesome.
Hey, look, you shoot 30% from 3, and UAB covers in that game. That's
It
all
happens.
I got to say. But in all seriousness, if Houston's going to shoot like that, then you might as well just, Illinois might as well not even bother showing up on Sunday. Just get in the plane, take the plane ride home, get that extra day of rest, get some sleep, go see your family, go see your friends, go to class. I mean, Houston was unbelievable today.
There's so many athletes on the floor playing for Houston. It's unbelievable. And they just swarm at you. And this is without their best 2 players, which is insane to me. And then they come out and shoot it the way they did. I think one thing we have seen during this tournament in particular is some of these smaller guards that maybe aren't wide set, like big shoulders. Like Malachi Smith's tall. Like he's a 6'4", 6'5" guard. He's not exceptionally wide. No. Jelly Walker is a smaller guard. Like whenever they take that step up in competition and play bigger size, you can see the difference. Houston's got those big bodies and athletes around the perimeter. That's an impressive bunch, and they continue to do it. Kelvin Sampson has not gotten enough credit this year. Point blank, period. He hasn't.
100%. 100%. I think that this game kind of proved it, RC. They have I said it before. It's very much a next man up attitude with all of these guys. And I think that every year, RC, every year, they lose someone important, whether it's Quentin Grimes or Marcus Sasser this year, and we find ourselves saying, yeah, how are they going to be able to replace this dude? Well, you know what? They got Tajay Moore coming in, killing people. They got Kyler Edwards coming in, dropping 25 and 7 in the NCAA tournament. They got Jamal Sheed out here, dropping 12.7 assists, 1 turnover, right? Like, it's just there's always going to be another guy. When are we going to learn? At some point, we have to learn.
Listen, I'm a huge fan of his, and we interviewed him on the show, a while back, and I think he's as good as anybody in the business. I mean, he is, and I don't know another team that can say they can lose their 2 best players and be where Houston is right now. I don't know if anybody
There's
can
not
say
one.
that. Yeah.
Start looking down the line at teams at the top of the country. Take away their top 2 players.
But they got to answer the bell come Illinois, because if we're going to play devil's advocate here, we're going to say who have they played all year. Right now, because that game against Alabama is not looking as good as it did early in the year, even though they lost at Alabama. So some of these wins are like, you kind of question it. But I think they're the real deal, and I actually think they're going to win that Illinois game.
Before we move on, I got to shout out Trey Jemison, the 5-man for UAB, who's a great kid. He played tonight on a partially torn MCL. Because he knew he wasn't going to play. I mean, I don't know what his. Gosh, it feels like forever since he's been there.
7 and 7.
Yeah, he averages 7 and
earlier.
7. He's a senior. I think he's going to end up graduating and construct. Like a great kid, played hurt for his teammates today. I mean,
Former Clemson kid, right?
former Clemson kid. That's how I know him. And he's had knee problems pretty much his entire college career, but he stepped up in a big way, in my opinion, today. Just getting out there and competing. So shout out to Trey Jemison. That probably should have been my cheers. But.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about this Wisconsin game because they are now up by 7, 67-60, with 4.6 seconds left. Please, Colgate, don't foul. There's 4.6 seconds left. You're down by 7. Don't foul. The line is 7.5. Do not foul. Wisconsin, they were down for much of the first half. I think they were down by double figures in the first half. They were tied at halftime. Johnny Davis came out, finally started making some shots in the second half. Are you worried about them, Tio? Are you worried about Wisconsin?
I mean, not more than we already have been. We know it's Johnny Davis and everybody else, so if he's going to be, halfway hurt, it's going to hurt things. But this Colgate team can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that they can.
tonight.
Yeah, they can really shoot the basketball, so that doesn't help things. But moving forward, he's got to be fully healthy. Who do they have in that next round? It's
Iowa State.
Iowa State. Gosh, you want to talk about a tough defensive team?
You want to talk about a snooze fest of a game? Is there anyone
It's
that
gonna be
wants to
miserable.
watch Wisconsin play Iowa State?
Not I.
Do we have to watch it?
Hell no.
Yeah, do we have to watch it?
I was shocked.
No
today.
fouls, no fouls. That's a cover, baby. Let's go. That's a cover. Let's go.
Is that the first one in the room today? Maybe.
I was
maybe.
about to say not a whole lot of wins.
Yes,
No,
see?
no, slow
That's a
down.
cover, baby.
Slow
That's
down.
a cover.
Slow
he
down
knows.
now.
He knows.
Some of us, or one of us did at least.
All right. Let's talk about the Big Ten as a whole because I don't know how
It was a tough day for the gambling crowd.
Yeah.
It was
No,
a tough
not
day.
for me.
Not for me either.
I made my comeback. I got on the crap tables. I sat next to the old man in a Wisconsin hat.
Yeah.
Y'all need to relax before I start lashing out because I love all three of y'all. It's starting to get on a personal level. So
We were just celebrating with personal
Say
accomplishments
this.
here today.
The talent maybe had a good day. The producers maybe not so much.
It depends. Would you rather win bets or would you rather your team win NCAA tournament?
Win bets.
Bets.
Yeah,
Bets.
probably
Bets.
actually.
Bets.
sounds like an
Bets.
All day
opinion of a
long,
man
bets.
who had 37
Especially-
scored on his team.
Bets.
Especially when I have 27 different favorite teams, and especially when I have the audacity to root for a team's rivals. We'll get into that later. Let's talk about the Big Ten as a whole. Big Ten went 7-3 in the NCAA tournament. 3 of them got knocked out. We got six teams getting to the second round here. What do we think? How do we feel about it? Was the league justified? Were we? I think I'm not going to put words in your mouth, okay? Because I don't remember what you guys said. We've talked way too much for me to remember exactly what you say every single time that we talk.
Yep.
But I felt that the Big Ten was overrated heading into this event. I didn't know if there was a national title contender on this coming out of that conference.
I think the hard thing about the Big Ten is the style of play that you need to win in the Big Ten is not necessarily
Yes.
conducive to what you need to do to win in the NCAA tournament, right? Because it's the lone league that focuses on the aircraft carrier, the big man.
Yeah.
Like so many teams have those big guys. You see what happens in the NCAA tournament. If you can't score at a high level with those big men, sometimes you're going to struggle. And you saw it today with some of the losses. It's just because of how they play and the style that you need in order to be successful in that league, it makes it really hard.
Everyone else is playing more modern small ball, and the Big Ten seem to be playing more throwback, two bigs or dominant big, and no one else is playing that way. So when they get in these matchups like today, luckily for Illinois, I would say because Coach Parrish comes from he has a Big Ten background coming from there. He built that team similarly, and it was an easier transition for Illinois, even though it was it was a hard-fought game. So,
But even so, I mean, they have a big guy,
Right.
That But Kofi Coburn, he moves pretty well.
Yep.
The team that I would argue that's actually 2 of them that are built best for March, and how their teams are structured would be Michigan State because they're switchable with Marcus Bingham, and the other one would be Rutgers, and Rutgers lost.
And Rutgers lost
Because Rutgers is big, switchable, and they have some shot makers. So,
Yeah.
those are the 2 teams that I would think, moving forward in a tournament like this, those are the ones that would have some success. But obviously, 1-1 as far as that's concerned.
Yeah. And as much as I want to slander that half of the room, I got to say that the 2 teams that I had the biggest question marks coming in from the Big Ten were Michigan and Michigan State. I thought Michigan's second half and probably the last about 25 minutes against Colorado State was just utterly dominant, right? And they didn't even have their starting point guard. And then Michigan State went out there and they tried to lose the game down the stretch. They tried to give it back over the course of the last 2 minutes. And I think that did it get a little sweaty over there? What was last couple of minutes, Carter?
I definitely got a little sweaty, but it's okay though. As long as you
A win is a win.
You got to prevail. That's all it is. At the end of the day, a W. I went to the counter. I cashed my ticket. That's all that matters. It's all right.
I'm really happy they did because I don't know. I might have went to the bullpen had they not. I might have tapped out.
I'm so mad